6 out of the 36 races so far. We are a long way to go until the championship race. So welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the NASCAR Cup Series and who has struggled and who has done well so far. Again, this is just talking about the Cup Series. If you want to know about the O'Reilly and Truck Series drivers, let me know if you want to see that video in the future. But right now I'm going to talk about the Cup Series. Which drivers and teams have struggled, which drivers and teams have done well. I'm going to let you know all the details and who is seemingly out of position. But if you want to see more NASCAR content or just content from moi, give a like and subscribe. The support will be very much appreciated. We're so close to 200 subscribers, we are just about getting there. Anyway, first driver, Tyler Reddick, the easy one to talk about. I mean, he has 4 wins out of 6 races. This is the most dominant start to a NASCAR season I have seen for however long I've been a NASCAR fan. Probably since the early 2010s I've been a NASCAR fan, and I've never seen anything like this. It makes it more impressive due to the fact that he was winless for 2025. He and the 2311 team went through a lot of struggles in 2025 with the court case, Tyler Reddick and his child's personal health issues. It's a good thing for that team that they are behind him. And I think he's already about 130 points or so ahead of the cut line, so I don't think he has to worry about getting eliminated from the chase anytime soon. Another driver that's done well is his teammate, Bubba Wallace. Yes, he might not be winning all the races that Tyler Reddick's been doing, but he has been quite consistent himself. He only has 1 finish outside the top 11, and that was the last race at Darlington, where I think he slapped the wall and he had a few mechanical issues after that. But apart from that, he's been quite consistently quick and not too far behind his dominant teammate. What about RFK Racing? They are 7th, 9th and 12th in points. I'd say they're looking like the most consistent Ford team so far this season, because Penske have been quite inconsistent over their 3 cars. Same with Front Row, and the Wood Brothers have not had a good start to the year. RFK, however, has had a good start. This format was looking at Chris Buescher the right way, because he has always been consistent. It's just been the lack of winning has let him down the last 2 seasons. Brian Priest, 12th in points, has had all finishes inside the top 25, which is pretty good. And Brad Keselowski has not finished outside the top 20 so far this season. Now, the main thing that makes it more impressive is the fact that, remember, he broke his femur in a skiing or snowboarding accident in the off season, which is about a 6-month bone to heal up, and he's healed that up, I think so, in about 2 months, which is all the more impressive. We could have had a relief driver. I think Corey LaJoie, if not for the Daytona 500, has been around to be a relief driver. Don't quote me on that. But Brad K has not needed him. He has been out there performing very consistently and staying out of trouble, which is what you couldn't say this time last year, where it seemed like he was getting in all sorts of messes. Shane Van Gisbergen, yes, I am a incredibly biased Kiwi, but you've got to take all the bias aside for this one. Yes, he didn't win in COTA, so he didn't win a road course, so epic failure, but the ovals have been really, really impressive. He has had multiple finishes inside the top 15. The only issues I could see he's had so far this season was Daytona, where I think it was a crapshoot and he got stuck a few laps down, and at Las Vegas, where he lost his splitter or had splitter damage very early in the race, and that put him on the back foot for that whole race, so that was a washout. The new chase format was going against Shane Van Gisbergen and the one-trick pony, but it seems like he's gotten the hang of ovals, and as I record this, qualifying is done in Martinsville, and he's qualified on the 3rd row. As Brad Keselowski said, I think a few weeks ago, it's like when Happy Gilmore learns how to putt. He is starting to get these ovals, and I think some of the Cup guys should be quite scared, because he is legitimately 15th in points. And if it wasn't for the fact that he had that last place finish at Vegas with the splitter issue, he was 5th before that, and he dropped down to 16th. So imagine if he had another consistent top 15 finish after that one too. Spire Motorsports, they have all 3 of their cars inside the chase bubble, which, considering how Spire have been forever, It's very, very impressive. They are looking like consistently the second best Chevy team behind Hendrick, but even some of their Hendrick cars aren't always as consistent as Spire. Daniel Suarez is making that number 7 machine look like the best it has, well, ever been. Michael McDowell has been utterly consistent, being just outside of the playoffs, or the chase, sorry. And Carson Hocevar is looking like a race winner without having won a race. He has gotten the speed, and he has lost that Carson Hocevar-like unpredictability that he's had in the last few years, where you never know what he's going to do. People probably don't trust him on the super speedways because of how chaotic he can be. But I think Mark Martin spoke to him last week, where he's told Carson, for up to 25 laps to go, drive like Mark Martin. But after that 25 laps to go margin, drive like the Hurricane, which seems like he has done that, because at Darlington, at the last part of that race, he charged through to a 4th place position. And finally, Ty Gibbs. Yes, his name may be on the front door of the workshop, but it seems like he has earned that seat through sheer consistency finally. He has been ridiculed, I think quite fairly, by multiple people for not winning a race. He has gone the longest for a Joe Gibbs Racing driver and not won a race. Yes, even longer than JJ Yaley, and JJ was quite quickly thrown out that number 18 car when the time came. But it seems like he's finally getting in that mojo. I've written down here, the last 4 finishes are a 4th, 4th, 5th, and 6th. All those people that Ty Gibbs hate watching, they are probably crying in their coffees at this point, because he is actually finishing well. Just quickly, who do you think is going to win their first race first? Carson Hocevar or Ty Gibbs? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And finally, the drivers and teams that are struggling a bit, might not be their fault, might be out of their control, sort of like with Chase Briscoe. I think he's had a few failures in the season so far. That could explain a 36th and 2 37th place finishes so far in the 2026 season. He's sitting 22nd in points. He should get a chase spot. I mean, it's the 19 car and he was very good last year, so he shouldn't worry any Chase Briscoe fans, but it has been a tough start. I also put Kyle Larson. This guy should be aiming for a minimum of a top 3 in points. That's even without the defending champion status that he has. But 10th in points is not very good, I would say, for Kyle Larson. It's those small Larson-like mistakes that he's been making, where in this format, they get punished. In the playoff format, you can squeeze through with a win and just mosey through the other 25 races, but with this one, you get punished for mistakes. That move that he made on Shane Van Gisbergen at Atlanta, where he chopped down in front of him at the end of stage 2, that really hurt him in points, and for Kyle Larson, if he wants to get that 3rd championship, those things can't happen in this new format. Now, SVG might be doing somewhat well considering his status, but Ross Chastain and Connor Zilic aren't. Ross is 20th in points and Connor is 33rd in points. Connor came in with more hype since like fucking Chase Elliott did in 2016. He had the world on his shoulders. You had NASCAR guys saying that Formula 1 missed out on this bloke. Yes, it's only been 6 races, but I really haven't seen much out of Connor Zilic aside from him getting involved in other people's shit. And not only that, just starting his own shit. You had him spinning Riley Herbst, who probably could be in the other category of those that are performing quite well, considering how Riley Herbst ended up like last year. But coming off 10 race wins in the Xfinity Series, you probably expected more, especially the only standout is his charging through at COTA, but he's a road course guy, you expect that. As for Ross, you could probably say he's been quite mid. A 3rd at Atlanta has been the really thing that has saved him so far this season. Everything else has been rather mediocre for the melon man's sake. And finally, I want to talk about Richard Childress Racing. Yes, they have been mid for most of the last few years, but this has been the worst start to a full-time Richard Childress Racing in the Cup Series ever. They haven't had a start this bad. You've got Austin Dillon, who is doing his Austin Dillon thing, so wait till Richmond until he really gets the jets, but it's Kyle Busch. This is a future Hall of Famer and the most winning NASCAR driver in any of the top 3 series. And he's been quite mid. He has been behind Austin Dillon most cases, and if it wasn't for the fact of that pole at Daytona, he would be quite an anomaly throughout this whole year. And Martinsville, if he doesn't win at Martinsville, which I highly doubt from a plus 30 place qualifying spot, he will be on a 100 race losing streak. Now try telling that to a NASCAR fan 5 years ago that Kyle Busch will eventually hit a 100 race losing streak. You'd probably think that they're going to be going crazy. And I think Richard Childress is the one that's going crazy because they're not performing, even though they've got the history of being, well, Richard Childress Racing. You expect that they can get the guys to do the job, because in the O'Reilly series they do have the guys to do the job. They've got Jesse Love, who Kyle Busch doesn't want to stay this year. They can probably pluck him into that 8 car, but would Jesse Love even want to be in that 8 car if there's another offer available? And they keep going to a 3rd Cup car, which begs the question, do they have the resources to do that? I'm not too sure. Yes, it gives Austin Hill and Jesse Love some love but in the Cup Series, but I'm sure they can just farm them out to another affiliate team like Beard Motorsports or someone like that to get their 3rd car drivers some Cup time. Can Richard Childress Racing turn it around? No idea. I don't think so. I think Kyle Busch will end up going winless again, and I think he will leave Richard Childress Racing, and or Austin Dillon will retire from full-time driving and go into a behind-the-desk role at RCR. But what do you think about who is struggling and who is performing rather well? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and while you're waiting for the next video, why don't you give a like and subscribe and check out some of my other content as well. I talk about supercars and I talk about other miscellaneous things like these 2 videos here. I think one of them will be for the Bathurst 6 Hour, which is next weekend, so check that race out wherever you can. And the other video will be whatever the algorithm chooses, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be.